Monetizing your skills, freelancing and remote work, platforms that pay. When I first stepped into the world of freelancing, I didn't even know where to begin. I had a few skills here and there, mostly picked up from hobbies, school projects, and odd jobs. Nothing really polished, but I was hungry. I wanted to build something on my own, something that could give me freedom. I had spent years working shifts I didn't care for, jobs that paid just enough to keep me going, but never enough to get ahead. The idea of working from anywhere, choosing who I worked with, and deciding how much I earned pulled me in. I was tired of clocking in for other people's dreams while mine stayed quiet. I remember spending hours online, just scrolling through websites that promised big earnings and flexible schedules. It all seemed so easy at first, until I tried signing up. Each platform had its own process, its own style, its own kind of people. Some wanted a polished profile. Others made me pitch my services like I was on a stage. Some offered a flat marketplace where people scrolled endlessly past me. Others seemed like tight little clubs where the same freelancers got picked every time. It was confusing. It was frustrating. But I kept going. Upwork was the first place I took seriously. I created a profile that, in hindsight, was a bit of a mess. I listed every skill I thought might be useful, even ones I had barely practiced. I didn't get any jobs for weeks. My proposals felt like they were disappearing into space. But then one day, a small client replied to my message. They just needed someone to rewrite a product description. It paid very little, but it was something. I treated that job like it was the most important thing in the world. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. I remember editing it over and over again before I submitted it. The client was happy. They left me a 5-star review. That one review changed everything. Suddenly, I wasn't invisible anymore. I stuck with Upwork because it rewarded persistence. Once I had a few jobs under my belt, I started getting invitations instead of always chasing clients. I found that the platform worked best for people who treated it like a real job, not just a side thing. I had to be professional. I had to show up, meet deadlines, and communicate clearly. It was a learning curve, but it paid off. Over time, I found clients who came back to me regularly. I even raised my rates. What started as $5 gigs slowly turned into $30, then $50, and eventually over $100 an hour. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened because I didn't stop. Fiverr came next. At first I avoided it because I thought it was just a race to the bottom. Everything looked cheap. People offering to do everything under the sun for $5. I didn't think I had a place there. But one day, I stumbled across a freelancer offering voiceovers for $25 a clip. Her delivery time was fast. Her reviews were strong. I started studying her profile. The way she wrote her bio, the clarity of her offers, her thumbnails, her delivery samples. She wasn't just throwing stuff together. She had branded herself. That's when I realized that Fiverr was a marketplace that rewarded clarity and confidence. People didn't want vague or complicated. They wanted quick, clean offers that answered their needs. So I made a gig, just one at first. I picked something I was comfortable with, something simple. I offered to write a one-page bio for people's websites. I priced it at $15. I added a decent description. I uploaded a clean thumbnail. Then I waited. Nothing happened for a few days. Then, out of nowhere, someone bought the gig. I didn't even get a message first. I just got an order. I was excited and nervous at the same time. I delivered the order ahead of schedule. The client was thrilled. They left a glowing review. And then someone else bought it. The reviews started stacking up. I added another gig, then another. Eventually, I created tiers for faster delivery and more complex writing. The income added up. Fiverr taught me something different than Upwork. It was about positioning, not just listing skills, but packaging them in a way that made sense to buyers. People on Fiverr were scrolling quickly. They didn't want to read an essay. They wanted something easy to understand. The more I simplified my message, the more people bought from me. I stopped trying to be clever. I focused on being clear. That shift made all the difference. Then there was Contra. It was newer, cleaner, more curated. When I signed up, I noticed it wasn't trying to be like the others. It had a sleek interface. It felt more like a portfolio and less like a job board. I built my profile with intention. I added my best work. I took time to polish my About section. On Contra, your presentation is everything. There's no bid war, no long proposal messages. Clients come to you if they like what they see. I didn't get immediate traction, but I kept at it. After a few weeks, someone reached out for a branding package. The process was smooth, the communication was friendly, and the payout was fast. I enjoyed working through Contra. The whole experience felt more like working with a creative studio and less like haggling at a market. As I moved through these platforms, I learned to treat each one differently. What worked on Fiverr didn't always work on Upwork. What got attention on Contra might not even be seen on Fiverr. Each space had its own rhythm, its own expectations. I had to adjust, but once I understood those rhythms, I could play them to my advantage. Choosing the right platform wasn't just about popularity, it was about fit. I had to ask myself what kind of work I wanted, how I liked to get it, and what kind of clients I hoped to attract. If I wanted steady, long-term projects with good communication and higher payouts, Upwork worked better. If I wanted fast gigs that I could stack, Fiverr was great. If I wanted to showcase creative, portfolio-based work and attract thoughtful clients, Contra gave me that space. The key was not trying to force one platform to be something it wasn't. I had to meet each one where it was. In 2025, freelancing has shifted again. The platforms are smarter now. Algorithms are watching everything. Profiles that perform well get boosted. Response time matters. Completion rates affect visibility. There are even badges now that reflect things like client satisfaction, delivery consistency, and repeat business. It's not just about being good at your work. It's about showing up consistently, managing expectations, and building trust in a system that's designed to reward reliability. I've also noticed more clients looking for freelancers who offer full solutions instead of just tasks. They want someone who doesn't just write a blog post, but who understands their brand voice, their audience, and their goals. They want someone who doesn't just build a landing page, but who can also tweak copy, recommend visuals, and understand user flow. It's no longer just about doing the job. It's about thinking like a partner. That shift changed the way I presented myself. I stopped using general terms like writer or editor. I started defining myself in ways that aligned with outcomes. I didn't just say I could write product descriptions. I said I helped brands increase conversion through clean, benefit-focused copy. That subtle shift attracted a different kind of client. It made my work feel more valuable, and it justified higher rates. Freelancing isn't just gig work anymore. It's becoming a path to personal agency. You can shape it around your life. You can scale it, pause it, experiment with it. You can build real relationships with clients who value your input. You're not tied to a zip code or a commute or someone else's schedule. And if you approach it with care and clarity, it can be more than just a hustle. It can be a career. I didn't see that clearly when I started. I thought I was just trying to make a few bucks on the side. But now, years later, I see that freelancing taught me how to own my time, how to own my work, and how to own my worth. Looking back, I can say freelancing gave me more than just money. It gave me confidence. It gave me choices. When I first started, I thought clients held all the power. I thought I had to say yes to everything. I worked weekends. I worked while sick. I even worked for people who were rude, just because I didn't think I could afford to lose a job. But over time, I learned to set boundaries. I realized the good clients actually respected that. They weren't looking for someone desperate. They were looking for someone dependable. And dependable doesn't mean overworked. It means clear, steady, and honest. I had one client who used to send edits at midnight and expected me to respond by morning. At first, I did it. I thought if I said no, I'd lose the gig. But it wore me out. I started missing deadlines for other clients because I was always catching up. One day I told him I wouldn't be responding after a certain hour. I apologized for not bringing it up sooner. To my surprise, he respected it. He didn't push back. He just adjusted. That moment changed everything for me. I saw that I didn't need to bend myself to fit into someone else's schedule. I could draw the line and still keep the work. That's the part nobody really talks about when it comes to freelancing. The freedom is real, but so is the responsibility. You have to manage yourself. Nobody's watching you clock in. Nobody's reminding you about deadlines. If you flake, you lose clients. If you ghost someone, your rating tanks. But if you communicate clearly, meet expectations, and stay organized, your reputation carries you forward. People notice. Referrals happen. Your inbox starts to fill without you having to pitch. It becomes a rhythm. Staying consistent became my secret weapon. I built a simple routine for myself. I checked my messages first thing in the morning. I blocked time for client work. I saved the last hour of the day for revisions or planning. I didn't always stick to it perfectly, but I tried. Even a little structure made a big difference. It kept me from burning out. It kept me from feeling scattered. I still had flexibility, but I gave it shape. I also learned not to put all my energy into just one platform. That was risky. Algorithms change. Policies shift. I saw freelancers lose half their income overnight because a site suspended their account or changed the rules. So I spread myself out. I kept a presence on multiple platforms, even if one was doing better than the others. It gave me options. It gave me peace of mind. At some point, I also started building my own site. Just a simple portfolio. Nothing flashy, but it was mine. It didn't rely on anyone's algorithm. It gave me space to showcase my best work, talk about my values, and let clients contact me directly. Over time, more people came to me through that site. They weren't comparing me to 1,000 other freelancers. They were already interested. That meant I could charge more. I could skip the back and forth. The conversation started at a better place. If you're just starting now, I'd say don't worry about having everything figured out. Just pick a platform, make a profile, offer a service you feel good about, even if it's something simple. You don't need to offer everything. Just one thing that solves a small problem for someone. Then do it well. Over-deliver. Get that first review. Everything builds from there. I remember how scared I was to hit publish on my first gig. I kept wondering if I was good enough, if people would laugh at my prices, if I'd mess up and ruin my chances. But none of that happened. What did happen was I learned. I adjusted. I improved. I kept showing up. And every time I got better, I earned more. It was never about being perfect. It was about being present and committed. What excites me now is how freelancing keeps evolving. More tools are coming out that help freelancers manage their workflow. Better payment systems, easier invoicing, built-in contracts. It's becoming more professional, more respected. Remote work is no longer this quirky side path. It's part of the new normal. People expect flexibility. They want control over their time. Freelancers are no longer just filling in gaps. They're leading creative projects, advising businesses, even building teams of their own. I've seen people who started as side hustlers turn into full agencies. I've seen moms working during nap time build six-figure brands. I've seen college students fund their tuition with weekend gigs. There is no single story. That's the beauty of it. Freelancing makes room for all kinds of lives. You don't have to follow someone else's path. You can carve your own. So when someone asks me if freelancing is worth it, I don't hesitate anymore. Yes, it takes work. Yes, it has its hard days. But it gives you something rare. It gives you choice. And with enough consistency and care, that choice becomes power. I didn't start out as an expert. I just started. And that one decision changed my life. It gave me a way to turn my skills into income, my time into value, and my dreams into action. And that's what freelancing can do for anyone who's willing to show up and keep going.